6th, 2023 at 10 a.m. We'll begin our public meetings, as we always do, with our Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. To our roll call, Ryan Hodgkins.
Present.
Nathan Grimes.
Present.
Mayor Hodges is present, as well as Clerk Treasurer Don Coomer and our legal counsel, Bo Zeller from Frost Brown Todd. You've been provided a copy of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Approve as presented.
Motion made by Nathan Grimes,
Second.
seconded by Ryan Hodgkins. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. We have your standing business, which includes the approval or correction of our meeting minutes from March 16th, our current claims, our payroll allowance docket from March 12th through April 1st. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion made by Ryan Hodgkins,
Second.
seconded by Nathan Grimes. Any edits or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? That's unanimous. I don't see anybody signed up for public comment. No old business, straight on to new business. First up, we have the lateral line resolution, 2023 R1. Tim, did you want to?
Yeah, yes. Good morning. What you have before you is something with the assistance of Mr. Zeller. We drafted this with the intent to clarify for all parties, the city and the residents of Charlestown, of who is responsible at what point for their service lateral that connects to the city mains. And what we've come up with and what you have before you is what we feel is a very definitive answer to that question, that the resident is in essence responsible from the point of connection at their house to the point of connection at the main line, unless there is a structural defect. And what we try to define in this policy is structural defect is not a blockage due to rags, grease, tree roots, or anything like that. It is literally a structural defect with a broke down pipe. The city would, at the point after the residence has proven that that structural defect exists and it is off of their property in the right of way, we would step in and try to assist them and get that fixed at that point. But anything from that point back to their residence will be their responsibility. Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah, just to chime in here, we reviewed and compared this policy to other similar policies around the region as well when we were putting this together.
Hearing that, I will entertain a motion to adopt 2023 R1 based on staff recommendation and legal counsel review.
So moved.
I have a motion from Ryan Hodgkins,
A second.
seconded by Nathan Grimes. Any questions, gentlemen?
What about if something's in the easement, not in the right of way?
I'm sorry, say again.
What if something's in the easement, a sewer's in the easement, not in the right of way? Or is it defined right of way somewhere? I didn't see that, but.
I don't think we truly defined right of way.
No, we did not.
So I guess, what kind of example of an easement are you talking about? Like, can you give me a situation?
Well, a lot of times sewers in the back of a subdivision, we're going down an easement line, not a right of way to the road.
That's true. I think the mains are typically in right of ways.
Yes, or streets specifically, but they are in right of ways most of the time.
Okay, so is there an instance where is there a circumstance with our system where it makes sense, in addition to having a right of way, putting easement there?
I believe so, yes, based on what Mr. Grimes has
Just ask a question.
pointed out. I think that the easement would fall in the same lines as the right of way of the street. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I think you could simply say right of way or easements, and, I mean, I'm just, I don't know if that's any case that they have that in the city.
I don't know about, so help me understand. So the point being that the reason you put the right of way is that that's where the line, the private line is coming into the tap, into the force main.
Right.
But an easement could be, I mean, we just granted, the Board of Public Works granted utility easement for the Quality Court site, for instance. And I mean, an easement technically could be kind of just going through the center of an area for
Right.
access. So I don't know, would we want to assume responsibility necessarily in an easement? I mean, or how are those different, is what I'm saying, because one is coming into the tap, and I understand
Right.
that if there's a structural failure that can be shown to be, kind of our fault because it's on the road, I guess the same would apply if it was an easement, but to me, they are fundamentally different.
Right.
Thanks.
Typically, as I'm accustomed to, a utility easement can be used by multiple utilities.
Right,
The easement, I think that I would agree with Mr. Grimes, is an easement that is dedicated solely to a sewer pipe.
okay,
I think that would you agree with that?
I just assume there's sewer mains and easements in Charleston, maybe
Right.
there's not, maybe everything's in the road right away, but I would assume there's some sewer lines and easements and some.
well, there are
subdivisions or
certainly
something.
easements, because we did one, there off of Monroe, remember, we got an easement granted,
Right.
for that one that had been a private, multiple served lateral line, and we actually got easements and took that over at one point, so, I mean, there are easements that are not in the road right away, so I guess that makes sense.
And we're only concerned where the main's at, not laterals that are going down an easement to get to the main.
That is correct. The lateral that goes down an easement to the main is still the responsibility of the
Right.
homeowner.
But, so I don't know how we,
Right.
I just assume in Charleston there are also sewer mains and easements.
There
that are
is
not-
typically the easement used for sewer mains in Charlestown or for force mains. To be very candid with you. There's very few, to my knowledge, that actually have a gravity
Okay.
stub, for lack of a better word, that goes to a gravity main that's in that easement.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with this, but I would assume that was just my assumption, that there were other cases that.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to amend it to include this language?
Based on our discussion, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I can, if you guys choose to approve it, I can just do a double check, and if I think it needs to be amended, I can bring it back to you. But I think the goal here is to cover lateral lines up to the point that they connect into the system. And I think right of ways is where almost all of these are.
Okay,
I'll amend my motion based off the review.
okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so your motion will be to approve the resolution as presented, subject to
Legal review.
final legal review.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a motion to approve based on final legal review. Do we have a second on that amendment?
Second.
Okay, second amendment. Any additional questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you guys, it's hard, very hard work on that.
And then, Tim, you can just stay up, 'cause I think you're up next. One step ahead.
Almost got away.
You're kind of lingering. I almost let you go all the way sit down. Look at that.
No, not a problem. There is a few items that I'd like to inform the board on this week. A lot has transpired since we met 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. Rain events have created some issues that has consumed a lot of our time, but again, that's why we're here. It's nothing we've not been able to work through so far. We'll continue to work on implementing our preventive maintenance program to address any issues that might be found during these events. But overall, the staff's done a great job in addressing them. We will continue to do so. Another function that has went on since we last met is we had the opportunity to bring both engineering firms together, be it Hanwag Klein and Jacoby Toombs and Lands, to discuss the flow metering data that was performed for a month period. Both firms have been very helpful, have submitted some recommendations for us to work off of, actually pinpointed some areas that they thought might be bigger contributors of any I&I that might be in the system. It was a very productive meeting, and we'll be following up on those things, and I'll be presenting the board with some of those findings as they come about. So one of the other items that we worked with and continue to work with both of the engineering firms. Last week, we met with HWC, the mayor, myself, and Tony Jackson on the value engineering that they presented to the board. We had a very good conversation with them. We made a lot of notes. We've got a lot of questions. We have a meeting scheduled this coming Tuesday with Mr. Harris and his staff to go over the similar type things to see just exactly what we can pin down, if there's any savings that we can consider as going into prior to the bid process for our construction of our new wastewater treatment plant. Again, we appreciate both firms on with the efforts they've made there. Last but definitely not least, I'm here to inform the board today, and I'm very proud of this fact. Since we've met the last time, there has been 2 operators in the utility that have achieved their certifications.
That's a big deal.
Very big deal, Mr. Jones, very big deal. One is, it received the certification of a Class 2 operator. The second one, a Class 3 operator. As we all know, Charlestown is currently a Class 3 certified facility. The new one might increase to a Class 4, but you're looking at 75 to 80% of our staff now being certified. And I'm very proud of it. They are very proud of it. They work very hard to achieve it. I mean, you put it in perspective. You've got 2 gentlemen in this particular case that have worked for the city of Charlestown for less than a year. And on top of their learning curve coming into this, taking the initiative to study and pass the certification test, I can't overemphasize the admiration that I have for those guys. Now that we have them, I think it is our duty to keep them. With that being said, I think that we should consider, and I would highly recommend to, at minimum, increase these particular individuals to a lead labor position. I would ask the board to consider that, and I don't know if that takes a motion or how that would work, but.
We would need to vote to approve, because it would be an increase in their hourly rate,
Yes.
from what to what.
I do not, they're a little over $24 an hour. I'm sorry, I don't have the ordinance in front of me right now.
Heather, is it 26 and some change?
I think it's 26.25, but
I think that sounds right.
Thank you.
So it'd be the max hourly rate. It would be anywhere between $1 and $2 more per hour, since, we had previously asked our council to adopt kind of that midline management position for this exact scenario. And they delayed doing that with the last salary ordinance. However, there is some room to give them an hourly increase, at least potentially to hold them until such time we can review the salary ordinance again for next year.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's what you're asking, is
Yes,
to raise them to that
that is
max
correct.
amount. And both of these gentlemen have their CDLs as well.
That is correct.
Yeah, one I think had it coming in, the other one tested
Yes.
through the course of it.
Yes, and we have a third one I hope to get into the system between now and July to get his certificate, or his CDL as well.
So yeah, we need a vote from the board to make those changes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion for Ryan Hoskins,
Second.
second for Nathan Groves. Any additional questions for Tim? I have one. Can you get them both here at the next meeting so that we can publicly recognize them with a certificate of accomplishment?
We will make that happen, yes, ma'am.
I think it's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of them. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Well, I'll email Heather and make sure that we make that official.
Thank you. I appreciate it. They do appreciate it.
Hard work.
One question before you leave, Tim.
Yes.
Going back to the flow monitoring.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a timeline, or are we more closer to having some real data to where we can start getting back with some of the people on Shadow Lake, Shadow Brook, and some of the other projects based off this data, or where are we staying on some of that?
Well, we need to do some more investigative work based off of the data. Once we find that we don't have, and I'll use this term very loosely, we don't have a big hole in the system, then we confirm that the data we have is accurate and real. We will be working with JTL, and I'm sure Mike might talk about that as well, to determine what our path of action would be. So to answer your question, I can't point blank answer your question, but it is continuing to be
I
worked
think we're
out.
closer to finding the source
Yeah.
of this INI. We have narrowed it down to a field, rather than the entire system, we have narrowed it down to a smaller geography to be able to identify. Right now, if we were to have to build, a station to accommodate the flow, we would be way over, but we don't want to overbuild. I mean, we don't want to treat stormwater, this is crazy. So now that we have it narrowed down to a more
Right.
reasonably sized geographic area to begin to investigate, they're hoping to investigate. Of course, smoke testing can't take place with this wet weather we're having, so that would have to wait. But hopefully we can start to run some of these lines in camera and televise and see if we can identify where this inflow might be coming in at. Get that repaired, then get actual real numbers on what flow is coming through that we need to actually treat and size accordingly.
And I
Does
would
that sound
like,
right?
before I turn, I'm sorry.
No, no.
Before I turn, I do want to emphasize it is something that we need to look at sooner than later.
Absolutely.
We're starting to get some failures, specifically with the Spring Street station. We had to replace a base last week. Those are not going to rectify themselves.
Yep.
And the same goes true with Highway 62. So, I
Yep.
mean, we've got two projects we're looking at. Mike will be able to address those a little bit better with that, but I did want to emphasize those points before I turn it over to him. So,
Great.
Mike, if you have anything.
Sure. I just want to make sure we don't miss out on opportunities. It's the only thing
Right.
we keep pushing, kicking the can down the road.
Right.
I know we're doing work and investigating that sort of thing. I just want to make sure it's still moving forward.
So to that point, there's, the whole system leaks. I mean, that's just the nature of the sewer system. So there's water coming in everywhere. We tried to identify for Tim some areas that were most likely to be big leaks. Because you'll never, I mean, you could spend tens of millions of dollars to try to fix everything, but you want to try to find what the major ones. So we identified some places for him to go look at. Treatment plant wise, let's see, as Tim mentioned, the value engineering, we've been through all those. A couple small comments that we're gonna meet Tuesday and go through. There might be a couple small things that can be implemented. We also had the opportunity to meet with the permit reviewer yesterday with IDEM. So the permit went up, what was it, a couple weeks ago, 17, yep. So we had the opportunity to meet with the actual permit reviewer, which is good. He's a gentleman that we worked with on the last one that we sent up there. They had good meetings, so he is proceeding with his review. So everything with that should be on schedule to move forward with the same bid schedule that we talked about. Anti-deck study, that can just come off, that's done. Highway 62, we're gonna meet in a couple weeks with Tim and the mayor to go through some updated cost estimates and start thinking about funding and what that might look like moving forward. Spring Street, and that's really tied into the flow monitoring, so we talked about that, the low-hanging fruit items. Indiana American, we're just working with Indiana American now on the actual construction part of that, keep that moving forward. And then on the agreed order, just make sure, call your attention to the fact that the compliance plan was resubmitted to IDEM and they have approved that, so that takes into account the new dates and the bid schedule and everything that's tied into the financing. They're good with that. And then the first quarter progress report went in on time. Second quarter will be due here in a couple months. So that'll be the next item to check off the list. And then that last item, that ties back to Spring Street, what we talked about before. So I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yes, are we, this for Bo and for you, just, I mean, the thing that's kind of looming over us is making sure that we have everything moving forward to get into the summer pool. Are we meeting our target dates, what's next, how are we doing on that timeline, I guess, at this point?
Yeah, so everything, the schedule was laid out to meet the summer pool deadlines, and
Right.
we're on schedule.
So we're just waiting to hear back basically from the permit and
Yeah.
move on and get that submitted.
Right.
Okay.
And we will, we would be comfortable moving forward with bids without having the permit in hand, as long as we've been in communication with them and kind of know that they don't have any major issues. That would be typical.
Just getting close to getting that bid out, getting eager to see how we land.
I'm not gonna, no comment.
All right, any questions for Mike?
Thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board, either from members or legal counsel?
Nothing for me.
I have no new information for you from last time. As always, I'm still chasing funds. Nathan grins like he's waiting for me to announce, so I promise, if I get news, I will let you know, but I'm still trying to, see if we can't secure a little bit more additional funding for this to bring our bond amount, so we don't have to raise rates, so.
You're doing good with that.
I'm doing what we can, still pursuing as many sources as possible, so if I hear new information, I'll make sure that I update the board. Otherwise, I guess our next meeting will be the 19th, and you can have Seth and Josh here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, entertain motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ryan,
Second.
second by Nathan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, thank you all.
Thank you.